The gut bacteria that control your mood and cravings. You've probably felt it before. A craving so intense it didn't even feel like your own thought. Sugar, junk food, late-night snacks. The sudden urge to eat something your body knows it doesn't need. But what if those cravings weren't entirely yours? Deep inside your intestines, trillions of microorganisms are fighting for survival right now. Bacteria, fungi, viruses, entire microscopic ecosystems living inside your body. And according to emerging research, some of them may influence far more than digestion. They may affect your mood, your anxiety levels, your sleep, your motivation, even the decisions you think you're making freely. Scientists now call this connection the gut-brain axis, a biological communication network so powerful that some researchers believe your gut may function like a second brain, which leads to a disturbing possibility. What if modern food isn't just feeding you? What if it's feeding the microbes controlling you? Inside your body lives an ecosystem so complex that scientists still don't fully understand it. Trillions of microorganisms, more bacterial cells than human cells in some parts of the body. Entire colonies competing, adapting, communicating, and surviving inside your digestive system every second. This invisible world is known as the gut microbiome, and according to a growing body of research, it may influence human behavior far more than anyone imagined. For decades, scientists believed the brain controlled nearly everything related to emotion, cravings, and mental health. But modern neuroscience and microbiome research are revealing something much stranger. Your gut and your brain are in constant communication, not metaphorically, biologically, through hormones, immune signals, neurotransmitters, and the vagus nerve, a massive communication pathway connecting the gut directly to the brain. Microbes inside your intestines may help shape how you feel, think, and behave. Some researchers now call the gut the body's second brain. And the implications are disturbing because certain gut bacteria appear to influence cravings themselves. Studies suggest microbes may respond differently to the foods you eat. Some strains thrive on fiber-rich whole foods. Others flourish in environments filled with sugar and ultra-processed ingredients. And according to some scientists, bacteria that benefit from unhealthy foods may send chemical signals that increase cravings for exactly those foods. In other words, part of what you think is willpower may actually be biology. This could explain why changing eating habits feels almost impossible for some people. The battle may not only happen in the mind, it may happen inside the microbiome itself. But cravings are only the beginning. The gut also plays a major role in neurotransmitter production, the chemical messengers influencing mood and emotional stability. A significant portion of the body's serotonin, often associated with emotional regulation and well-being, is produced in the gut environment. Gut microbes also appear connected to dopamine pathways, inflammation levels, and stress responses. This is why scientists are increasingly studying links between gut health and conditions like anxiety, depression, brain fog, ADHD, and cognitive decline. The connection is so strong that some researchers now believe chronic inflammation originating in the gut may influence mental health more than previously understood. And modern life may be damaging this system at an unprecedented scale. Ultra processed foods low in fiber and high in refined sugar can reduce microbial diversity. Chronic stress alters gut signaling. Sleep deprivation affects bacterial balance. Antibiotic overuse may disrupt entire microbial ecosystems. Even artificial sweeteners have raised concerns in some studies for potentially altering microbiome behavior and glucose regulation. Over time, the gut environment may shift toward dysbiosis, an imbalance where harmful microbial activity begins overpowering beneficial strains. And when that happens, the effects may spread far beyond digestion. Inflammation rises, energy drops, mood becomes unstable, cravings intensify. Some scientists even believe microbiome disruption may contribute to the global rise in metabolic disease and mental health disorders seen over recent decades. This is where the biohacking world became obsessed with the gut. Longevity researchers, neuroscientists, and health optimizers began treating the microbiome like an internal operating system, one capable of influencing nearly every aspect of human performance. People started experimenting with fermented foods, probiotics, prebiotics, elimination diets, glucose monitoring, and AI-driven nutrition tracking designed to personalize food choices based on biological responses. And artificial intelligence may push this even further. AI systems can now analyze gut microbiome patterns alongside sleep data, glucose responses, inflammation markers, and dietary behavior to detect hidden health trends humans would likely miss on their own. The goal is no longer just avoiding illness. It's optimizing the entire internal ecosystem controlling human biology. But the deeper researchers explore the microbiome, the darker the implications become. Because if gut bacteria can influence cravings, mood, focus, and emotional behavior, then modern food companies may be shaping human biology in ways most people never realize. The terrifying part about the microbiome isn't that it exists, it's that most people are feeding it blindly. Every processed meal, every sugar spike, every night of poor sleep, every chronic stress response, all of it sends signals into the microscopic ecosystem living inside your body. And over time, that ecosystem adapts. Some bacterial strains weaken, others dominate, the internal balance shifts. Researchers are now discovering that microbial diversity, the variety of beneficial organisms inside the gut, may be one of the strongest indicators of long-term health. Reduced diversity has been linked in studies to obesity, inflammatory disease, metabolic dysfunction, and even certain neurological disorders. In simple terms, the healthier your internal ecosystem becomes, the more resilient your body may become as a whole. And this changes how many scientists now view nutrition entirely. Food is no longer just calories, it's biological programming. Every meal feeds not only you, but the trillions of organisms influencing your brain, metabolism, immune system, and emotional state. Which may explain why ultra-processed foods can feel strangely addictive, because many of these foods are engineered for hyperpalatability. Combinations of sugar, salt, refined fats, and artificial flavoring designed to override natural satiety signals. And when those foods repeatedly reshape the microbiome, cravings can intensify even further. This creates a dangerous feedback loop. The wrong foods feed the microbes that demand more of the wrong foods. Meanwhile, inflammation rises in the background. And according to emerging longevity science, chronic inflammation may be one of the greatest accelerators of biological aging. This is why many biohackers now prioritize gut health as aggressively as exercise or sleep. Not because fermented foods are trendy, but because the microbiome appears deeply connected to nearly every major system involved in human survival. Researchers are now exploring how specific bacterial strains may influence immune resilience, metabolic efficiency, stress tolerance, and even cognitive performance. Some experimental studies are investigating microbiome-based therapies for depression, anxiety, obesity, and neurodegenerative disease. And artificial intelligence is accelerating the field rapidly. 8 models can now process enormous amounts of microbiome data alongside glucose responses, genetic patterns, sleep metrics, and inflammatory markers to create personalized health recommendations. The future of medicine may eventually include customized nutrition protocols based on your unique microbial ecosystem, not generic diets, biological precision. But the deeper this science goes, the more uncomfortable the questions become. If gut bacteria influence mood and cravings, how much of modern behavior is truly independent? How much of what people call discipline is actually biological chemistry shaped by environment, stress, and food systems? And perhaps the darkest question of all, what happens when billion-dollar industries learn exactly how to manipulate the microbiome for profit? Because whether intentionally or not, modern society often rewards the very habits that damage gut health most. Ultra-processed diets, chronic stress, sleep destruction, constant stimulation, artificial living environments. The human microbiome evolved alongside nature for thousands of years. Then industrial civilization changed the food system in less than a century, and the body may still be struggling to adapt. But here's the hopeful part. Unlike many systems in the body, the microbiome can change surprisingly fast. Better sleep, whole foods, fiber-rich nutrition, exercise, stress reduction, fermented foods. Over time, the internal ecosystem can begin rebuilding itself, which means your biology may not be fixed nearly as much as you think. And maybe that's the real secret hidden inside microbiome science. You are not only feeding your body, You are feeding the invisible organisms, helping shape the person you become. So the next time a craving feels impossible to resist, ask yourself one question: is really your brain making the decision, or something much smaller? If this video changed how you think about food, mood, and human behavior, leave a comment sharing the one habit you think is secretly damaging modern health the most. And if you want more dark, science-backed stories about biohacking, AI, and the hidden systems controlling human biology, subscribe now. Because the next thing influencing your mind may already be living